The bride, excuse me, the bride has risen. Let's do the spoiler-free no-hype review. What's up, cretins? What's up, creeps? My name is Chris. I am the only person talking horror on the internet. Hit me with the follow, help me get to 5K before my 2-year anniversary this June. Maggie Gyllenhaal tries her hand at a very loose interpretation of a very minor subplot for Mary Shelley's original story. This concerning Frankenstein's monster's search for and subsequent relationship with an undead mate. Undead mates run amok. There's your movie. Let's bring this up so that we can break this down. Obviously, the Frankenstein tale has been adapted to feature film countless times, if you can't count to 469 times. His Bride, however, has only been the focus of about 4 movies. And writer-director Maggie Gyllenhaal not only does justice to the character, but illuminates the star of her vision arguably better than has been done before, while also paying homage to its predecessors. 11 out of 15. Jessie Buckley is nothing short of iconic as the bride, delivering a character that's strong, feminist, ironically full of life with a gives no fucks attitude. Christian Bale's monster is more soft-spoken, subdued, and reactive, seeking acceptance of his counterpart and learning how to live through knowing her. And Bale is just as good as Jacob Elordi delivered in his Oscar-nominated performance. Annette Bening is great as Dr. Euphornius, delivering a fairly grounded and curious character versus the mad scientist that usually revives these creatures. And rounding out the cast, Peter Sarsgaard and Penelope Cruz are there too. They're detectives. I feel like they did what they could, but the passion maybe wasn't written into those two. And that comes through. Should be a 15 out of 15, but they kind of drag it down to about an 11. You can feel the love that Maggie Gyllenhaal has for her bride in the writing of that character. And with her being the center of the story, that is the most importantly written character in the film. She's got some great dialogue and some sassy, neatly worded exchanges. However, those detectives, they take up enough of the film. Maybe a good 20 minutes is just them. And I don't feel that Maggie Gyllenhaal likes them, but she doesn't hate them either. She's indifferent to them. It largely just feels like she's written them in because she needed some kind of antagonist to the antics, and she doesn't like having them take up the screen time of the story that she wants to tell. The result? Peaks and valleys, it's fairly uneven, but it is more good than bad. 10 out of 15. The Bride is not a scary movie. I mean, maybe like a child under the age of 8 could be intimidated by Frankenstein's rage, but they're not going to be sleeping with the lights on. Really, The Bride isn't a horror movie as much as it is a lovers on the run movie appropriating horror characters. 1 out of 10. I really liked the look of The Bride. In a lot of ways, it's built with the flash and the spectacle of a modern musical, just without the song and dance. Or without the song, at least. Additionally, guys, just get ready now to be dressing up as Frank, because if this movie finds its audience, this is what your girlfriend is going to be planning for your couple's costume at conventions and Halloween parties later this year. Don't give her shit. She does so fucking much for you. Why don't you show a little gratitude? I mean, it looks awesome anyway. It's the least you can do. 9 out of 10. The story is fairly jumbled because I largely don't know that there was much of a story other than Maggie Gyllenhaal wanting to make a more iconic punk rock version of The Bride. The result doesn't feel so much like a singular strong story that has an introduction, objective, climax, and resolution as much as it is a series of subplots that are gathered and resolved. 5 out of 10. There are kills in this movie, and they can be brutal, but they're not framed as horror kills, they're just kills. If that doesn't make sense, the kills are more close to American History X Curb Stomp than they are to Art the Clown. 3 out of 10. I do believe that The Bride has a rather original take on a character that has existed in film for nearly a century at this point. Did I ever picture The Bride in this capacity? No, not necessarily. But looking at her past iterations, she's not really at the forefront of those as she is in this. I love this take on her, even if the things that surround her skew scattered. 3 out of 5. Rewatchability? Do I need to? Not really. But would I? Sure. Especially at home, as I know what's going to go on with the droll cop parts, and I could just skip through those. I could just watch the parts that both I and Maggie Gyllenhaal were more interested in. 3 out of 5. I did enjoy The Bride. I think it's a very visually attractive film, and honestly has the style and the substance to garner a Jennifer's Body type cult following. It'll be a little bit more difficult given the time period, but the appeal is universal. 4 out of 5. So, overall, these add up to a possible 100 points, and when I chainsaw this off, your Masascore for The Bride is 60 out of 100. Now keep in mind, 20 points of the Masascore system are dedicated to horror-specific metrics, and The Bride's lack of both scares and horror-style kills really dragged the score down. It's kind of exemplary at being a better film than it is at being a good horror movie. I do think that it's worth checking out, just don't expect an overt horror film. Kindred Spirits, Sid and Nancy, Natural Born Killers, Del Toro's Frankenstein. That's all I got for you, cretins. That's gonna do it for today, creeps. Let me know if you saw The Bride and what you thought of it right over here. And as always, this is all just a matter of opinion. See it yourself, make your own decisions, remain critical, support horror.